Hello, I'm Sope Martins. I am an on-air personality, and welcome to my kitchen where we will be filming my episode of Budget Chef. Okay, so I know I'm supposed to prepare a meal under 400 naira and I'm supposed to go to the market for it, but guess what? Transportation costs come into the meal for me, so I decided I was going to find something in my kitchen. Otherwise, you would be eating gari and granite, quite frankly, or noodles. So, I have a lot of stuff in my kitchen. I'm going to go around, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to put in this kitchen and into my meal. So looking down here, I have some yam, but I'm guessing a tuber of yam is going to be a lot more than 400 naira. So let's just move away from that. In here, I have got some onions. Onions always make a meal look good. I've also got some sweet potatoes, so I might be able to do something with that. But what do you make with sweet potatoes? That's the question, right? Okay, so I'm going to need something to go with my sweet potatoes. I can't just make a meal out of sweet potatoes. So I'm going over to the fridge. Let's see what's in the fridge that I can make with sweet potatoes. All right, so looking in here, in the fridge, I have got my personal savior, the thing that goes best with everything. Ta-da! I'm gonna make sweet potatoes and eggs. I think I'm gonna make it in an omelet. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to do some maths, and that's not my strong point, but let's see if we can calculate this. So I have my eggs with me, and I'm going to do the mathematics of eggs in just a bit because I know one egg is 40 naira, and this is where you're going to see me fail because I'm very, very bad at maths. But before I calculate everything, let me go get the sweet potatoes. I'll get my spices as well. And by the way, spices are not allowed to be in the cost. They're just not. Otherwise, I'll be way over budget. Okay, so like I said, my sweet potatoes, got a couple of them from a supermarket for about 100 naira, maybe 150 naira, but let's round it down to 100 naira. So sweet potatoes over here, and let's see what I can get in my spices. So what goes well with sweet potatoes and eggs? All right, so we're gonna get the basics, black pepper. We're gonna get some chili flakes as well. So I can do that. Oh, I think that black pepper is finished. Okay, so crushed red peppers I have. Oh, something that makes sweet potatoes look amazing is this smoked paprika. It's the best thing since sliced bread. What else do I have? Okay, there we go. Here's my black pepper. And I'm going to need some salt, but for some odd reason, I don't keep my salts with the rest of my spices. So I'm gonna go find my salt. There we go. Okay. Now, where is my salt? I think it's over here with my baking products. Salt, don't fail me now. Ah, salt. Okay, so I think I'm ready. I think I'm missing something though. What am I missing? Ah, okay, I'm missing two very key ingredients for me, garlic and onions. So going back to where I got my sweet potatoes from, let me get some onions. Or let me get one onion so that I don't go over budget. I know 3 of these are 150 naira in the market, but at the supermarket you can pick up 1. So that's what I did. I'm not cheating. And I've got garlic over here. Let me get some nice, amazing garlic. I'll just use 1 clove, so it's not too bad. And I'm not putting this in my budget, otherwise I don't actually know how much I'll be over it by, but garlic is something that everybody should have in their kitchen. So if you don't, that's your problem. There we go. So all my ingredients are ready. And now I guess it's time to get cooking. Okay, so first of all, I have to wash my eggs because hygiene. Let me get on with it. Now here's the key to eggs that I found out very, very recently actually. And then I told my mother and she said, oh, I thought I already told you that. So when it comes to keeping your eggs nice and fresh, you can put them in the fridge. However, do not wash them until you are absolutely ready to use them, which is what I'm doing. Okay, so there we go. Now let me do the maths. I've got 4 eggs here to make a really, really huge omelet. So 1 egg is 40 naira. This is where the bad part comes in, my mathematics skills. 4 times 4 is 16, so 4 times 60, 160. That's 160 naira. Then I've got my onion, which I'm putting at 100 naira because it's 150 naira for 3. So I'm putting it at 100 naira. So that is 260 naira already. And my 2 sweet potatoes. I lied earlier. I said they came in at 100 naira, but let's put it at 150 naira minus 10. So 140 naira. Otherwise, I'll be over the limit. So there we go. Excuse me while I blatantly cheat as I prepare to cook my food. Okay, so there we go. All of this comes up to about 410 minus 10 naira. So 400 naira. Let's get cooking. Before I get to all my instruments, I'm going to put on my budget chef apron, if I can turn it the right way up. There we go. Okay. Okay, so the apron is finally on, the hair has been wrestled into place, and now onto the things I'm going to need to prepare my ingredients. So over here, I have got everything I will ever possibly need to make an omelet. I'm going to start off by cracking the eggs and separating the mixing bowls. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to crack an egg properly. Here goes. Okay, that's the first one done without any mishaps. Let me see if I can get through 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I've managed to get through eggs 1 to 3 with magic fingers, no cracks or shells in the mixture. So 4th time's the charm. And there we go, perfect. Okay, so now I'm done cracking the eggs. I will need to wash off my egg yolky hands, and then I'll get to beating and putting in my spices. Whew. All right, so first things first, for my eggs, it's always about the salt, because if I don't put the salt in first, I tend to forget. So let's get on with the salt. I like to use the salts that you can grind because, actually I like to use sea salts that you can grind because it kind of gives it a freshness. So let me just put a bit of sea salt in. There we go. What else am I going to be popping into my eggs? I like a bit of heat, so I like my crushed red pepper chili flakes. There we go. Let's pop some of those in. Some black pepper to season it just a little bit more. Not too much, otherwise it can overpower it. And last but not least, I'm going to put in some of my smoked paprika, which is my new wonder ingredient. I use it for every single thing. Okay, so let me put in just a little bit. Okay, so I really like whisking eggs because I feel like it gives me muscles. This is my gym time. Okay, so still need to keep beating these eggs. They're getting quite frothy now. Once I've beaten them to a frothy enough state, I'm just going to leave them aside just to relax for a bit, and then I'll focus on my sweet potatoes. Okay, I think I have whisked these eggs into a frothy delight. I'm going to put them aside and I'm going to move it along to my sweet potatoes. Now, a lot of people actually ask me why I am the way I am when it comes to cooking, because most people would normally just, whisk the eggs once, twice, then it's all over. But I'm all about textures. I know I said earlier on that I was an adult picky eater. And for me, food is really about the textures. Washed off my sweet potatoes. Now, another thing that I'm going to do, and that is kind of in line with the way I cook, I also don't like funny colors. So the thing about sweet potatoes is when you cut into them, they're beautiful and they're white, and I love them that color. However, once they get exposed to oxygen, the inside starts to go a little bit brown. I don't like that. So I'm going to do something that a few people might think is a little bit much, but it's just the way I cook. I'm going to put my sweet potatoes in acidulated water. That's a long word, I know. I'm about to explain it to you. So acidulated water basically means water that's had something acidic put in it. That's what I take from the meaning of it. So you can put lemon juice, you can put lime juice. I'm going to be using vinegar because, it's cheap. It's always in the house. You can use it for cleaning. You can use it for so many things. So I'll be putting some vinegar in my water, which means that once I cut into my sweet potatoes and put them in that water, that they are hopefully going to stay white. All right, so let me just fill up this bowl. And there we go. This should be enough for my sweet potatoes. Let me go and get my vinegar. So this is the malt vinegar that everybody has everywhere I've ever gone. So this is also not part of my costs, okay? So let me just open this up and pour a little bit of the vinegar in there. There we go. A little bit for extra measure. Ooh, I can smell it. All right, so now I am going to cut into my sweet potatoes. Let me get a knife. And let's hope this actually works, people. So here I go. This is what I'm talking about. Nice white insides of the sweet potato. So I'm just going to pop that into the vinegar water now and keep on cutting. Oh, wow, these things are really hard to cut into, but you know, I have strength from all the whisking of the eggs. Let me just cut this off. I'm not going to be using this top, you know. Okay, so now that I've cut up both of my sweet potatoes, I'm just going to take a couple of, actually not a couple, a few of the bits of sweet potatoes, and I'm going to skin them. Okay, so now I'm done cutting up my sweet potatoes, and I'm going to show you what exactly I meant by acidulated water. So this is one of the sweet potato pieces that I had out, and you can see the edges are brown. This is from where it was in the air and exposed to oxygen, versus this nice one, very white on both sides because it was still in the acidulated water. There you go, you learn something new every day. So now I'm going to cut up these peeled sweet potatoes into tiny little bits so I can put them in a pot to boil, because I like my sweet potatoes very, very soft once I'm putting them in the omelet. Okay, so now I've cut my sweet potatoes into little chunks, which are just perfect for boiling. So now I guess it's on to pots and pans. There we go. I need to find a pot. All right, so yep, what I'm going to do, fill this pot with water so that I can get to boiling my sweet potatoes. So now I've filled this pot to the brim with water. I'm going to be putting in my sweet potato chunks. There we go. And now I'm going to be adding the spices to them. All right, so it looks like all of my spices are in, which means it is time to get boiling with these sweet potatoes. Okay, so that is my sweet potatoes on the fire. And while I'm waiting for the sweet potatoes to boil, I'm going to add one more ingredient. It's free. People, it's free, so don't add it to my cost. I'm going to add a tablespoon of water because it helps just to make the eggs a little bit softer because it's going to be an omelet. So let me go get an actual tablespoon because I am a baker, so I have my measuring spoons. So this is 1 tablespoon, and I've got some water over here, and I'm going to measure my tablespoon of water. Okay, here we go. So that's my 1 tablespoon of water, absolutely free, and I'm going to whisk it a little bit more. Okay, so while I've got my sweet potatoes boiling away and I've whisked my eggs again, I'm going to do just one more thing. It's still within the budget because I've still got my sweet potatoes. And what I want to do is make sweet potato fries. So it's not going to be too hard. I'm just going to cut the rest of the sweet potatoes up and put a little oil on them, put a little salt, put a little of the other ingredients that I have, or rather the other spices that I have. So one thing I'm going to need is my coconut oil. And it is somewhere here. There we go, coconut oil. Okay. Here's the thing, I know I'm adding another thing to my list, but like I said, oils, butters, you should already have in your kitchen. Otherwise, I don't know if you just moved into your house. And I love coconut oil. In fact, coconut oil for me is one of the best oils because it's got a very high smoking point, which means that it's still healthy. It still has all its nutrients. It doesn't turn into poison and just poison your body while you're eating it. So that's great. And also I have a double use for it. I also use it to moisturize my skin as well, which is a great thing in the kitchen because you're always washing, you're always doing different things. So what I'm going to do is pour a little coconut oil on my hand. Yeah, just hold that and get one of my sweet potatoes. And I like to put the oil, in fact, see, look, it's still got that whitish sheen because it's been in the acidulated water. Now I like to rub oil on the sweet potato bits so that it protects them from the oxygen in the air. So now that I've done that, I'm going to cut into it. Let me just do this. Okay, so now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is just season the sweet potato with the same seasonings that I have. now that it's got a bit of the oil on it, I'm going to put some chili flakes, some smoked paprika, black pepper, and salt. And then I might cut a couple of onions in and then pop it in the oven while the other sweet potatoes are boiling. So let me get my tray. My last tool that I need, my trusty oven tray. I'm going to pour just a little bit of coconut oil. As you can see, I really love my coconut oil, and I don't mind pouring so much of it because I know that it's not going to burn anything. So onions for every sweet potato fry. All right, now I think I'm ready. No, I'm not ready. I'm going to do one more thing, just because I can, and because the butter has been very, very sad all by itself. I haven't used it just yet. So let me use the butter. I'm ready for the butter. Just going to put a little bit of butter. Now this is something new because I usually just stick with coconut oil, but I want to see what the taste of butter is going to do for the sweet potato fries. So I'm just going to rub a little bit of butter, and I'm going to rub some of the onions with butter because it just gives it a really nice flavor. I put butter with onions, so I know this. Okay, so butter over these, and I think now we're ready to go, buttery fingers and all. Let me pop this here and get the last of the butter onto this onion. Okay, so once more, it's on to wash my hands, and then finally, we can get to the oven. Okay, so to the oven with you. Hold on, let me actually make sure I pass the Sope smell test. Oh, smells like butter and spices, I love it. Okay, so here we are. Let me just pop this next to the boiling sweet potatoes and get on with my oven. So I already have my tray at the top of the oven. Okay, so I'm going to be grilling. That's the word I'm looking for. Grilling these rather than roasting them from the bottom of the oven. So that's done. I'm gonna pop this in at the top and put my sweet potato fries in. Well, okay, they're not fries yet, they're slices, but I like to be aspirational in my thinking. They're fries in my mind. And in the meantime, I'm going to check on these. My goodness, I feel like I've been talking so much about food. I feel like an expert, but not really. That's not what I normally talk about. On the radio, I'm usually talking about relationships, talking about politics, talking about sports, talking about anything apart from cooking. These sweet potatoes that I've been boiling actually look nice and soft, smell amazing. So I think I'm going to take them off the fire. Even if they're not fully boiled, they should do because they're still going to be fried along with the eggs and the onions and the garlic. So this is done. I'm going to pour out some of the water, and then I'm going to focus on my eggs once more. Okay, so sweet potato fries are in the oven. Now it's back to the eggs. One final whisk, and then we're gonna put it in the pan. These eggs have been beaten to within an inch of their life together. So I'm going to cut a large chunk of butter because I put 4 eggs in there. And quite frankly, I don't think you can ever have too much butter. I've never had a situation where I have ever had too much butter. A little bit of this onion actually, not too many bits of onion. Before I put the onions in with the butter, I'm going to pop the butter on, just let it get a little bit hot, and then I'll put the onions in so I can caramelize them. So here we go. Okay, so the fire has been lit, the butter is on it, and it is melting beautifully. And soon I'm going to be able to put the onions in with it. All right, so let me just grab the onions that I've cut into little chunks, and I can hear the butter crackling over there on the fire. So let me just take this. Ooh, it's crackling nicely. Oh, the beautiful thing about butter is when it melts and when it's over fire, it gets this amazing nutty smell. And that's where all the flavor comes in from. So if I'm just going to leave these onions in the butter for a little bit, and whilst they're there in the butter, I'm going to check on my sweet potato fries. Let me get my cloth. Okay, here we go. And just check to make sure these are okay. Oh, these are nice and brown. You can see they're actually smoking. I'm going to use this. Ooh, smoking very nicely actually. I'm going to turn them over if I can. Okay, now the onions are getting quite brown. It smells really lovely, the mixture of the onions and the butter. And one more thing to add to this mixture is my sweet potatoes. So, oh, these look amazing. Okay, so I'm actually trying to mash them up in the pot. I'm not sure why, but here we go. I want to make sure that I get small chunks of sweet potatoes in with this mix. But I'll be able to mash them up in the frying pan as well. So I'm not adding too many sweet potato bits to this. I don't want it to overpower the onions and the butter, but that should be enough. Okay, and now this is where it gets fun. This is where I get to kind of do a little bit of violence on the sweet potatoes. And now I'm mixing them all up together just so I can make sure that all the flavors blend in together. And I think we're done with caramelizing the onions and the sweet potatoes as well. Yep, that smells about done. So I'm going to take these over here and I'm going to find a plate because I just realized I need this pot for my eggs. Put my sweet potatoes in. Oh, they smell delicious. And I think I see her coming in. Tega has this superpower. I don't know how, but whenever I'm cooking and something starts to smell delicious, in she comes and I see her coming in now. Hello. So Tega, are you ready to taste what I've got going on for you?
Yeah. Is this sweet potato?
Yes, it's sweet potatoes, but this is a different sweet potatoes because Tega has had my sweet potatoes before. She's loved them, but she's never had sweet potato omelets, so...
Sweet potato omelette.
Sweet potato omelets. It will be fine. It will be fun. So, you are in just in time actually, Tega, because I'm going to be cooking up your omelets right now. You know you like butter. It's all about the butter. So, I've got my butter in my frying pan again. All right, so I'm gonna put this on in just a bit, but before I do that, I think I need to get my sweet potatoes out. I can smell a smoky flavor or a smoky smell, and you want it smoky, you don't want it burnt. So I think I've gotten to it just in the nick of time. And this looks really good actually, Tega. How do you feel about this?
I want to bring my fork first. You know, this...
Okay, so I'm just gonna pop these here, and then, turn off my oven, and now I think I can go on with lighting this fire so I can get the omelets up and going. Tega, I hope you're not tasting this already.
No,
I have the eyes in the back of my head on you. Whew. I'm always scared. I always feel like this thing is going to light up and, I don't know, explode in a ball of flame. But it never does. It still hasn't to this day, so that's good to know.
Speaking of,
I
left my bag at the office.
How did you manage to do that, Tega?
I was rushing for food.
Ah, okay. See, that's all right. I will make this worth your time and worth your bag being left in the office. Tega, be prepared to be amazed. Are you prepared?
Sope, I haven't seen this one before.
I know, neither have I.
I've seen potatoes, I've seen omelette. I haven't seen potatoes and omelette together.
Neither have I. So this is a nice new experiment for us.
Okay.
So, Tega, you know I'm scared of butter. Come and help me. Come and
just do the cooking. I support you from here.
Okay, so here we go. Let me just pop this in. I think an omelette is all about making sure the fire is not too hot. Okay. Tega, will you be angry with me if I cook this food for you, then eat this food for you?
No, but if you cook the food, just cook this food nicely. You know me, I don't know how to lie. I'm just telling you now.
I've told you, you need to act. You need to make sure that this tastes amazing.
I don't know how to lie. So if it's not nice,
Tega, smile. You have a great smile, so smile and say it's good. People will believe you. Oh, okay, so now I need to make sure all this egg gets cooked. Ugh.
Are you going to put the potatoes into the...
Yeah, all in good time, my friend, all in good time. Cause it smells ready doesn't mean it's ready yet. Calm down, it's coming, it's coming.
This is interesting.
This is going to be amazing. I believe in my powers, I believe in myself.
So is this something you thought up yourself, or you saw it in a book, or...
Tega, when somebody tells you 400 naira for a meal, you start to get creative. You start to get inventive. We're in a recession. People need to be able to create and invent new dishes.
So I'm going to be the first person to taste.
Yes, Tega, you have the ultimate pleasure of being the first to taste this.
You can look at that in two ways.
You've had a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It could go south.
Hopefully, it's not the end of the lifetime. Hopefully.
Let's see how this works out.
Okay, but at least, Tega, we know I know how to make eggs, right?
Yeah, you know how to make eggs.
How to make eggs, so...
I don't know about eggs with potatoes.
No, you're safe on this one. Taste the potatoes, in fact, taste the potatoes. Good? Yeah, there we go. Good potatoes. What can we say? Aha, so now imagine these perfect potatoes with these perfect eggs, because we know I make perfect eggs, because it's all in the beating.
Okay. So at what point do we put it now?
Well, we need to wait for all the eggs for the runniness of the eggs basically for the eggs to become set. And then we can pop the potatoes in, because I don't want to kill you with salmonella or any other E. coli or whichever one comes from it.
So this 400 naira, everything 400 naira.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's all good.
So it's okay
So
now.
we're letting, the egg is almost done. It's almost set. You can see it's getting kind of set.
Okay.
So we'll just wait for it to set, and then I'll add some more butter, and then I'll add the potatoes.
So now it's time for the potatoes.
So, Tega, do you believe in my ministry?
I'm trying. I have no choice. I'm already here.
Okay.
Might as well.
So sweet potatoes and onions going into the eggs. I hope this works, Tega. I really hope this works.
So it's just supposed to be on top. It's not like supposed to go into the eggs.
The thing about an onion, or an omelette rather,
You just wrap.
you cut it and there you go. And I think I'm done. Are you ready to taste this?
Okay.
Okay. Smell it. Oh, smells good. Yeah, it's done. It's over. Let me get you a plate and a fork and a knife. And then you can be my guinea taster. Be my taster.
I can be your taster. Is that going to be part of?
Yes, it will be. Now, hopefully, my issue with omelets is, sure, it always looks nice in the pan, and then you try to get it out of the pan, and then that's where it all falls apart. I don't know how these chefs do it. Then again, they went to school for it, so.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, now is the time of reckoning. Is this going to happen, Tega?
It is. It is. It's going to make it. Uh-huh.
There we go. There we go. Oh, this looks amazing. I'll keep the sweet potato for myself. Okay, so. Looks good. And now I get to put your sweet potato fries on this. Let me arrange it for you. Ooh. And there we go. Are you ready to taste? All right. I'm ready for this. What's your verdict? Eat it, eat it, eat it.
You know, the first one is to make your mouth accustomed to the something.
Uh-huh.
And then the second one is to be sure. This is good.
Yeah?
This is good.
Yeah? All right, cool. That means that what I do is
No.
ready.
I haven't tasted the potatoes yet.
It's all right. I'll help you with the omelette. Let me try this. Oh, okay. Let me see if this is as good as you say it is, or if you're just a really good actress.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I know how to cook. Okay, let me actually try this one now.
So that is fantastic. It's so soft. It's well spiced.
I'm listening. There's more, right?
No, it's well spiced. It is soft. Which is something that is rare with people don't know how to barbecue. But this omelette is also great.
She's not acting, people. She means it.
Trust me, if we're not nice, I don't know how to act. I don't know how to act.
All right.
So while you are talking to your viewers, can I be helping myself? You've actually done a really good job, and because of that,
Thank you.
I have a crown for you. Yes, you know how beauty queens, they come out and they take their crowns. So when you have cooked a great meal like this, I have to give you a chef's award. Yes. So I'm bringing your chef's award. Oh, okay, we have to officially make you a chef. It's not this one.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Yeah?
We have to crown you chef of the month. You know, and I have to crown you well so that I'll be your tester for the rest of your life.
I feel very happy about this, you know. Thanks.
So this is for a great job. Well done. You have cooked.
So thank you all so much. I feel like I have cooked a magnificent meal. It has been corroborated by Tega herself. So I am your budget queen, budget chef. Thank you so much. Thank you. Here's my queen wave. This is how they do it. Queens, they wave like this.